So again, I think that many people who are listening at home did not hear my first sentence and my words of gratitude. That as I was saying that Alhamdulillah, I would like to express my thanks and my gratitude to all those people who are participating in this very important conference discussing a very important masala. To take the time out in the blessed month of Ramadan is indeed a sacrifice. Jazakumullahu khair al-jaza wa ahsan al-jaza. The issue of moon sighting is a very delicate, and I suppose in this day and age a very emotional issue. And especially when it comes to the months of ibadat, meaning the month of Ramadan or the month of Shawwal for Eid al-Fitr, and then the month of Dhul Hijjah or Muharram, then the issue becomes an issue of great debate. And because we all know that Haramain Sharifain or Saudi Arabia is part of the equation in the decision making of these months, many a times the emotions play a large part in what we are saying or what we are thinking. And probably this is the reason why many people tend to have the opinion that on this issue, silence is better. And you should just do what you are doing or follow what you have been following. And I suppose, because I've been told to go through my experience over the 14 or 15 years on following the Vifaqul Ulama criteria. So my approach pre-2006 was probably exactly that. Silence and just go with the flow, go with what we are doing. Probably in 2006, the later part, after Ramadan. Before Ramadan, one of the chairmen of a local masjid, I think he approached me and he said to me, Modi Sahab, we need to think about this. There is so much going on as regards to these sightings or the sighting news or the decisions of the months that we are making, that we need to really discuss this. So that really got me going as far as researching the whole issue of the criteria that we as a masjid at that time were following. Then the month of Ramadan came, the Eid al-Fitr was also decided. At that time as well, people approached me. And I thought that yes, let's go into this issue and research the issue. And I think the very first moon sighting conference at that time, Vifaq wasn't formed yet, was held at Nurul Islam Masjid. And Alhamdulillah, many prominent ulama from the United Kingdom attended that conference. The likes of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Hassan Bodanvi Rahmatullahi Alayhi from Walsall, Hazrat Maulana Ayyub Sahab from Leicester, Hazrat Maulana Samiruddin Sahab, Hazrat Mufti Ashfaq Sahab, Damat Barakatuhumul Aliyah, many ulama. Alhamdulillah, very successful conference in which many ulama also participated. And that was an eye-opener. But even after that, the decision wasn't made. The research continued. Encouragement also continued from local chairman of masajid as well. And I had a choice. The choice was to remain silent and go with the flow, or to speak out, meet with the trustees, the committee members, the community, and go into depth as regards to this particular issue. At the time, now thinking, I thought to myself and I came to a conclusion that maybe silence is not an option. Silence is not an option. Because as an imam of a masjid, or as an imam of a community, as a leader of a community, I had responsibilities. Ala kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi. Whatever decisions were being taken through the masjid for the community were on my head. And I thought to myself that to go into my grave, these were my words that time, and I continue to repeat these words, that I do not want to go into my grave with the fast or the sawm of thousands of people on my head. This thinking and this belief continues till today when somebody asks me as regards to this. And I say this same statement I give to the other imams as well, that I do not want to go into the grave with knowing that what we are doing is wrong. I don't want to go into my grave because people are following me. People are trusting me. Yes, there were issues that were going through my mind as well. And I'm sure these issues go into the minds of the other leaders of the community or the other imams as well. The issue of unity, the issue of Haramain Sharifain, or maybe even the issue of astronomy. Because in those days, especially 14, 15 years ago, when people were not very well versed as far as moon sighting was concerned, people got mixed up with astrology and astronomy. So these were issues as well. So these three things came to my mind at the time. And each one of them I confronted. The issue of unity I confronted in this way. That yes, if it was something which was mustahab, something which was not an obligation, something which was not a farth, then okay, I would give unity the preference over anything. But this was an issue of something which is connected to fara'id, one of the pillars of Islam, meaning fasting. And I thought to myself, and I concluded, and I'm sure Mufti Sahib would agree with me on this, that in matters of fara'id, it should be unity that is based on truth, unity which is based on haqq, unity which is based on facts and factual information. That should be given the preference. Should never be the case that we should unite in celebrating or beginning the month of Ramadan on the day of Shak, on the 30th of Shaban. And it should not be the case where we should unite in celebrating Eid al-Fitr on the 30th day of Ramadan when we should be fasting. So unity based on something which is incorrect is not something that I came to that conclusion, is not something which is accepted or acceptable. So the unity argument, alhamdulillah, I confronted in this way. Then there was the issue of Haramain that people tend to bring. Haramain Sharifain, it's an emotional issue because every single Muslim, male or female, has the love and they would give anything for the sake of Makkatul Mukarrama and the blessed city of Madinatul Munawwara. But again, 14 years or 15 years of my experience in moon sighting and moon sighting decisions to date, and maybe my colleagues here can correct me, to date, I have not heard a single testimony coming from Makkatul Mukarrama or Madinatul Munawwara. Not a single testimony in the 15 years that I've been working in this field. All these witnesses that are coming, or very few that come, are coming from Riyadh or somewhere near to Riyadh. So that's one thing. So these decisions has got nothing to do with the Haramain Sharifain, number one. And the second thing is, very important, that it is only the 4 months where even these witnesses are coming forward or the announcements are being made that Hilal has been sighted. Where the remaining 8 months are concerned are not decided by Saudi Arabia or anyone else. Rather, they're decided by who? The astronomers. A simple formula of moon sighting is being followed, a formula that I will go into later, but a formula which is not based on sighting or possibility of sighting. So for 8 months, there is no sighting announcement coming out from Saudi Arabia anyway. So again, the issue of Haramain Sharifain, alhamdulillah, I tackled. Then the issue of astronomy. Astrology is haram. But where astronomy is concerned, numerous verses in the Holy Quran exist through which we can understand that astronomy is part and parcel of our great deen of Islam. وَالْقَمَرَ قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلَ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned as regards to the moon that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed measures, there's fixed measures to the moon, which Mufti Muhammad Shafi Sahib rahmatullahi alayhi in his Ma'ariful Quran has mentioned that have not diverted even for a second since its creation. And people should know that where astronomy is concerned, the leading astronomers of the past are alhamdulillah Muslim, and even today. So again, this was not an issue. So it was in 2006 then when we came to this decision, and I held at the time, I remember, quite a few moon sighting conferences. Mufti Ibrahim Desai Zida Majdahu was also called. Vifaqul Ulama was formed in the latter parts of 2006. And I would say that since the formation of Vifaqul Ulama in 2006 to date, every single month, be it a month of ibadat or be it a month of non-ibadat, meaning all 12 months of the Islamic year are based on actual sighting. No astronomy. Astronomy is used as a tool in the Vifaqul Ulama criteria. Vifaqul Ulama criteria, alhamdulillah, that has been endorsed by our major institutions, the likes of Darul Ulum Deoband, Mazahirul Ulum Saharanpur, Jamia Islamia Dabel, Binnori Town, Jamia Faruqiya, Darul Ulum Karachi, all these institutions, alhamdulillah. And local sighting is attempted. At this moment in time, it is so organized that we have 40, 50 sighters throughout the country. And after Maghrib, alhamdulillah, slowly, the news trickles in as regards to local sighting. If there is no local sighting within the UK, then alhamdulillah, we have the connection with the Ministry of Affairs in Morocco. We receive news from them. And sometimes we also have our ulama in South Africa. And some people mix up South Africa in the sense it's so far away. But the issue there is, and I was the one that originally wrote all the questions to the Darul Ifta. And one of the main reasons for South Africa was that our ulama that we studied with, I studied in India, alhamdulillah, I studied in Pakistan as well. Ulama that I know, ulama that I trust, ulama who are on the same school of thought as mine. And alhamdulillah, I know that the moon sighting structure, the moon sighting criteria and the decision making is in accordance, or 100% in accordance with the Holy Sharia there. And this is what I put in front of Hazrat Mufti Sayyid Ahmad Sahib Palanpuri, rahmatullahi alayhi as well. And it was based on this, that it is Sharia compliant. And each and every decision is Sharia compliant, that we chose South Africa. So, local sighting, Morocco and South Africa, and again for South Africa, whatever, alhamdulillah, the fatwa are there. Very clear fatwa, that whether we can follow or not follow, from the mother of all institutes, Darul Ulum Deoband. So anyway, as I was saying, that every single month, throughout the 15 years, has been fixed in accordance with actual sighting. And I suppose this is a major difference between the Vifaqul Ulama criteria and the criteria of Central Moon Sighting Committee, which is based on following Saudi Arabia. Whereas on the one hand, all 12 months are according to ru'yat, actual ru'yat. On the other hand, where Saudi Arabia is concerned, and we can't criticize Saudi Arabia because it is something that they are doing openly. But Central Moon Sighting Committee here, they're just blindly following that. Where 4 months of the year, meaning the months of Ibadat, the month of Ramadan, the month of Shawwal, the month of Dhul Hijjah, and the month of Muharram, there they are decided in accordance with claimed sighting. And I'll explain why I said claim. And the other 8 months are decided in accordance with the Qura calendar. So 4 months sighting, 8 months in accordance with the calendar. Now, anyone will be able to conclude as to the reason why, of which calendar should we be following, of which calendar is in accordance with the Sunnah that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has passed on to us, of sumu li ru'yatihi wa aftiru li ru'yati. Should months be decided in accordance with the criteria? And let me explain that Qura calendar criteria. Where the Qura calendar criteria is concerned, the month is decided in this way, that after the birth of the moon, after the birth of the moon, if moon set is after sunset, if moon set is after sunset, then the new month will be declared. And if after the birth of the moon set is before sunset, then the month will be declared as 30 days. As is the case here in this month, the month of Ramadan, where we've seen the reports that are coming out that there'll be 30 days in the month, because it doesn't fit with the criteria. Moon set is before sunset, so automatically they are saying that with testimonies will not be accepted, the month will be 30 days. But in the month of Ramadan, sighting will be done. Where other months, in Safar or Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Akhir, then it would have been clear that no sighting, this is the case. Many a times these decisions are such that even the months of Ibadat are based on claims which are impossible and mahal. The month of Ramadan, where a 12-hour moon was sighted here in Saudi, the claim sighting, wherever there is a stringent moon sighting process in place, nowhere was it sighted. The whole of the Africa. Then the West Indies, alhamdulillah, we have connections there. It was first sighting was in California, 13 hours later. And if somebody saw that moon, the photo of that moon, they would understand why that sighting was impossible. So now the question is that do we have to follow that which is impossible and that which is mahal? Just because a Muslim is coming and saying that I saw the moon, I saw the hilal, although being impossible, just because he's a Muslim, do we have to accept that? So if somebody came in the middle of the night, alhamdulillah, pious Muslim, trustworthy, and said, I just saw the sun rise, something which is impossible, do I have to accept it based on the fact that the person is a Muslim? That which is impossible and mahal and goes against sarih aqal in intelligence, we are not inclined and we are not obliged to accept that. And that can be found in the writings of the many ulama. And if one looks at the principles and the usul hadith, then one will find many principles and usul proving this. Then somebody might say that what difference does it make? 4 months sighting, the 8 months that are not based on sighting and just based on the calendar. What difference does it make? Well, it does make a difference because alhamdulillah there are many amongst us who likes to keep their fast of Bid, the fast of the white days, the 13th, 14th and the 15th of every month. Why should it be that just because I'm being asked to follow a particular calendar, instead of 13, 14, 15, I'm being asked to fast on the 12, 13 and 14? So one can understand from how important it is, not just for the months of ibadat and non-ibadat, that we base each and every month on actual sighting. That is the Sunnah method, and that is the Vifaqul Ulama method. And I think I will conclude with the words of Hazrat Mufti, or the Shaykh al-Hadith, Hazrat Mufti Sayyid Ahmad Sahib Palanpuri, Rahmatullahi alayh. Many times that we went to visit him, and I suppose many times in his bayans and lectures on the issue of Hilal, which he clearly mentions that chalo, even if you don't want to say that this is impossible, mahal, doubts are definitely there. A moon that cannot be sighted through the whole continent of Africa, not even sighted in Barbados and these places, stringent moon sighting methods in place, not even Chile and these places, and where we know people who do actual sighting. So all these, after hours and hours, moon getting older. So that creates doubt. And the instruction of Nabi alayhi salatu was salam, as could be understood from the hadith, from the sunan of Imam Tirmizi rahmatullahi alayhi, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said, Da' ma yaribuka ila ma la yaribuk, that leave that which is doubtful for that which has no doubt. So alhamdulillah, a 12-month calendar, which is based on actual sighting, alhamdulillah, there is yaqeen to it, there is no doubt to it. That is what we should be following, and alhamdulillah, that is what Masjid Umar has followed from 2006. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq of amal, wa ma alayna illa al-balag. Inshallah, Maulana Ayyub Sahib, who is the Amir of Vifaqul Ulama, Shaykh al-Hadith, alhamdulillah, teaches Bukhari here, teaches Bukhari in India, Falahi Darain, Turkeshwar. Alhamdulillah, he'll be coming on for a short 10-minute lecture on the issue of Hilal as well. That the lecture will be in Urdu, so just bear with it. And after that, inshallah, Mufti Amjad Sahib will be, inshallah, going through his presentation, where he will be explaining the issue of Hilal sighting in a scientific perspective, and at the same time with a fiqhi perspective as well.